Mummy.
Hello, darling. Where's Tiffany? She better get her skates on or she's going to be late for work.
She's in the bathroom. Talking about that bathroom, we ought to try and do something with it, you know, modernise it a bit. That bathtub looks like some sort of prototype. Imagine what a good designer could do with it. His and hers vanity units, a jacuzzi, a little bit of Laura Ashley. We could get that chap who did my big house. Phenomenal imagination. He did the interiors for the Pan Am Clipper Class Lounge. I'll have a word with Daddy.
Don't waste your time, love. You know what he's like when it comes to spending money on the house. The last home improvements he did was fitting a toilet roll holder in the outside loo, and that fell off.
Morning, Sil.
My watch is broken. It says 9:30.
'Tis 9:30.
It can't be. She's up.
Don't start, Sil.
I can't lay around on settees like her.
And I can't milk goats like you.
Hey, where'd you put my hay fever pills?
I left them in the greenhouse.
Daddy, have you ever thought about getting a jacuzzi?
Jacuzzi? No, I haven't. Bloody Japanese jeeps, that old van does me. Oh, by the way, a man phoned you this morning. His number's on that pen.
Who's he asked for, me or Annie?
Don't be silly, Sylv. Thanks, Daddy.
Well, it might have been for me.
Yes, Sylv, it might have been for you, but it wasn't. Who was it, Daddy?
He didn't leave his name. He's in some hotel up in London. A right posh one by the sound of it. I mean, he's staying in the Windsor suite.
Oh, I wonder who it could be.
Right, I'm going to get on with that creosote. Are you making the coffee, Sylv?
Yes!
Right, pull me back.
I'll just tell young Tiffany to get a move on or she'll be late.
Would you like me to put this tray down and answer the phone?
Well, it might be for you.
Yes, it might be. Sunny Meadow Farm, Sylvia speaking. It's for you.
Oh, who is it?
It's Gordon, your solicitor.
Ah.
No, you stay there. I'll bring the phone across to you. Don't want you moving. It might put a strain on your heart.
You're twisted. You know that, Sylv? Twisted. Hi, Gordon. You're at work now.
No, I'm calling from home. I'll be in the office later. Annie, I received a letter from a lawyer in New York, a young chap called Cliff Monahan. He's a claims attorney. Basically, he tracks down beneficiaries of wills for a percentage of the estate. Now, apparently, Mr. Monahan has been trying to trace you for the last couple of months.
Me? What would he want to do with me?
Well, I was rather hoping you might be able to tell me that. He seems to feel that you may be entitled to quite a large inheritance over in the United States and various parts of Italy. The odd thing is, he refers to you in his letter as Ms. Annabel Briggs, also known as Signora Annabella Manari.
Really?
Any particular reason for that?
Well, it all happened about 8 years ago, long before I met my Boris.
Yes. Say that again, Annie. You did what? Well, I never knew that. But all these years I've been looking after yours and Boris's affairs, you never told me.
Didn't I? Well, it must have slipped my memory, Gordon. No, I forgot to tell Tiffany as well.
Well, what about your sister and parents?
Nah.
Well, I really think you should tell them, Annie. It could save a lot of confusion in the future. Well, our friendly lawyer has been making extensive investigations, and he's come up with some interesting findings. Apparently, there is another interested party trying to trace you.
Oh. Oh, yes, I know him. I think he's already left a message. He wants me to phone him at his hotel suite.
No, Annie, whatever you do, don't speak to him. I'm not quite sure of the ramifications of this situation. Come to my office this afternoon at about 2 o'clock.
Yes, Gordon.
Speak to no one until you've spoken to Cliff and myself.
No, Gordon.
Phone my secretary and ask for an appointment. Tell her to cancel everything in my diary for today. I'll see you at 2.
Right away, Gordon. Ciao. Oh, hi. Could you put me through to the Windsor suite, please?
Go on, bring the right hand over. Jab him! Go on!
Switch that boxing off.
It's not boxing, it's Wimbledon versus Millwall in the cup. Go on, get stuck in. What's up, love?
I've been to see my solicitor.
Is everything all right, love?
Tiffany, Sylvie, Mummy, Daddy, I have a very important announcement to make.
You found a flat. You're moving out, aren't you?
No, God. Please listen to me. This is something I should have told you all a long, long time ago. Oh, this isn't the easiest thing for me to say, but here goes. It all happened about 8 years ago.
Oh, God.
I've just broken up with Jason. Do you remember Uncle Jason?
Yes.
Ex-publicity manager of the Trogs. Lovely man. He's very big in plastic now. Anyway, after the breakup, I took myself off to New York for a few days to try and get over the pain. And I needed a new pair of boots. Anyway.
So what's his name?
Oh.
The man you met?
Who said anything about Mummy meeting a man?
Well, most of her stories begin, and I met a man.
Why don't you leave Annie alone, sitting there prejudging your own sister? Carry on, love.
Thank you, Daddy. As it happens, I did meet a man. His name was Gino. I met him at Regine's on Park Avenue. Phenomenal discotheque. He was very wealthy.
We guessed that.
A multi-millionaire, in fact. He was Italian-American, and you know what the Italians are like. Anyway, we just sat there and talked. We talked about everything. Our lives, our families. I told him about you, but he didn't mind. Anyway, we went out a couple of times after that. Oh, it was like being caught up in the most wonderful whirlwind. One minute we were complete strangers, and the next, we were married.
Did you say married?
Mm.
Well, you never told me about it.
Well, you're away at boarding school, Dumpling. I most probably thought you'd be too young to understand.
And what about me and your dad? Did you think we'd be too young to understand?
You didn't know either.
It's news to all of us, Tiffany.
Well, the thing is, the marriage only lasted a few days. It was all over so quickly, it hardly seemed worth mentioning.
You couldn't even phone and tell us. In the whole of New York, you couldn't find a telephone box.
Well, it all happened so fast, I wasn't sure how you'd feel about it. I did plan to bring him home and meet you all as a kind of surprise, but before I could, it was all over. Anyway, we didn't get married in New York.
Well, where did you get married then?
Sicily.
Sicily?
We got married in a little church where his mama and papa had married and where Donnie had been christened.
Who's Donnie?
The man I married. His real name was Gino, but everyone called him Don. Oh, it was one of those typically flamboyant Italian weddings. Singing and dancing, lots of children and anchovies. At first, it was all wonderful. I was like Jackie Onassis, but with a bit of life. Then, after a couple of days, the rows started. It was horrible. Every night was another drunken rage.
Is that why he left you?
He was getting drunk, Daddy, not me. Oh, we seemed to argue about everything. Personal attitudes, finance, everything. I mean, how can you live with someone who's completely materialistic and who has a total disregard for money? Well, when he said that to me, I knew it was over. That's why I never told you before. It was all too painful. After a year or so, a letter arrived from Rome containing my divorce papers. I thought that would be the end of it. But the past caught up with me today.
That phone call from your solicitor?
Yeah. Gino died 3 months ago.
Oh, darling.
It was a road accident. But now, there seems to be some confusion. Apparently, they can't find any record of our divorce on the registry in Rome.
But you said you'd got your divorce papers.
Well, no, I haven't. They must have got mislaid when I moved house. Anyway, I only assumed they were divorce papers. It was all in Latin.
So, all these years you may have been officially married to Gino.
Possibly.
But you went and married Boris.
That's the problem.
What? That was a bigamous marriage?
Gordon's not sure yet. Oh, sorry, I never told you any of this before.
I'm not.
You're not angry with me, are you?
Angry? I'm disgusted with you.
She was always a bit scatterbrained in them days.
Scatterbrained? You're so scatterbrained she can't even remember getting married. And on top of that, she commits bigamy. You call that scatterbrained?
So, why have they contacted you now, Mummy?
Well, it would seem that if our divorce was never finalised, then I'm still Gino's legal wife and therefore the sole beneficiary to his entire estate.
Well, on the other hand, she was young. I've been young myself. I know what it's like.
Like Annie said, it was as if she was trapped in a wonderful whirlwind. It must be easy to forget things.
Thank you, Sylv. That telephone message you took earlier, Daddy, that was from Roberto, Gino's brother. He's flown over from New York to discuss the details with me. I'm meeting him tomorrow at his hotel. Thank you very much, everyone, for being so understanding. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must rest.
Go off to bed, love. Have a nice sleep.
I'll bring you your breakfast up in the morning, Annie.
Grazie, Sylv. Egg on toast. Arrivederci.
Thought you might appreciate a bit of company.
What do you want, Sylv?
Nothing. Is that Gino? Gino from Sicily?
Yeah?
The one that people call Don? Do you think that maybe he was mafia?
Just between ourselves, sis, I think he was.
You knew, but you still married him?
Look, Sylv, I know the mafia get a bad press, but cool, they can't half throw a barbecue. With Dom Perignon, beluga caviar all the way. It cost at least 200 quid to get sick at one of their do's. I'm joking, Sylv. When I first met him, I just thought he was a successful businessman. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And he started telling me things I didn't want to hear. That's the real reason I kept quiet about it. I didn't want you and Tiffany and Mummy and Daddy getting drawn in.
But you're meeting his brother tomorrow night. Aren't you worried?
Nah, that's different. Bobby, Roberto, he was the quiet one. He had a really lovely fiancée called Angelina. They were really nice. Bobby and Gino were chalk and cheese. Anyway, you don't honestly think he'd fly 3,000 miles just to kill me, do you?
Nah. They'd have a local branch to do that sort of thing.
Oh, hi. Couldn't you sleep either?
Your mum and I are just having a little chat.
Are they photos of Gino?
Hmm.
Can I look? Mummy, what was Gino's line of business?
Oh, I don't know, Dumpling. He had his fingers in lots of pies. Show business, casinos, nightclubs.
You don't think he was, well, part of the mafia?
The mafia! Oh, don't be so ridiculous, Tiffany!
It was just things you said. Perhaps I'm letting my imagination run away with me.
I think you are, Tiffany.
Tell me about him.
I'll put the kettle on.
Well, it's difficult to know where to begin. He could be very generous and very caring at times. He used to talk about us having a child, a boy. You know what Italian men are like. That was the nice part. I think underneath the temper and the foul language, they lay a lovely man. Have I hurt you, Sugar?
A little bit. I just wish you'd told me about this man who was so important to you. I feel like I was left out of your life.
I'm sorry, darling.
It's all right. He was very good looking. I think if things had have worked out, you'd have had a beautiful child.
Well, I know that, darling. I mean, look. Here's one I made earlier.
Roberto.
Annabella. Sei bellissima. Assolutamente bellissima.
Oh, grazie, Roberto, grazie.
Prego. It's okay, I'll pour. It's great to see you again, Annie. I'm just sorry it has to be on an occasion such as this.
Thank you, Bobby. I was shocked when I heard the news.
So was the whole family. He was so young, so full of living. Hey, the secret is not to mourn for too long. We should celebrate Gino's new life in the next world. And we should celebrate our lives in this world. Don't you agree?
Si.
Salute.
Salute.
Way to go.
So what have you been doing since we last met? You still with Angelina?
Nah, we split way back.
Oh, sorry. Did you ever marry her?
No, still a bachelor. Yeah, that's only because Gino saw you first. Listen, Annie. There's a lot of things I gotta explain to you tonight. Things about Gino. Now, some you should have been told, and some maybe you already guessed.
Oh, that should be interesting.
Yeah, maybe. But look, let's eat first, huh? I don't know about you, but I am starving.
I'm still traumatised, Bobby. I don't feel at all hungry. I might just be able to force down a guinea fowl.
So, now I come home from school, and the whole family thinks I did it. Thanks. And there's Gino standing there, looking like a little angel, so sweet, so innocent. If he'd have been made of candy, he could have eaten himself.
Oh, I remember. With just a smile, he could make the whole world fall in love with him.
Annie, there's a couple of things I have to tell you. I've been dreading this moment. My lawyers got a wire from your attorney. What do you call him in England, a solicitor? He's trying to stake you a claim on Gino's estate.
But if it's a problem, Roberto, then forget it.
No, it's no problem. It's just the legalities of the whole thing. You see, legally, I'm the sole beneficiary to all of my brother's worldly goods.
Oh, phenomenal, Bobby. It's just that Gordon, my solicitor, checked with the Italian divorce registry and me and Gino weren't on it.
He was looking at the wrong register. You see, you weren't divorced. Well, not in the traditional sense. Gino applied for an annulment.
An annulment? But why?
Well, because the marriage was never consummated.
Wasn't it?
Well, you were closer to the action than me.
When?
Well, like the wedding night?
Oh, I was there in body, yeah, but not in spirit. We'd all drunk so much Sicilian wine that evening, I can't remember anything about it.
Well, don't worry yourself. It's all academic now, Annie, and it's time to move on.
Time to move on? You tell me something like that and then say it's time to move on?
Look, just forget about it. It's all in the past now, okay?
Something like that is not easy to forget. Roberto, do you mind if I ask you a question?
Fire away.
Well, I was wondering if you and Gino were, mafia.
Mafia?
It's just something Gino said.
What exactly did he say?
Well, I remember he got drunk one evening and he started talking about the family's interests in Colombia.
Uh-huh.
And he said there was going to be a killing.
Well, he said that, did he?
And he said that you had hired somebody to do the shooting. And I remember thinking to myself, oh, I don't know, I wonder if there's something to do with the mafia. You know how you do.
You want the truth? No, we're not.
Oh, phenomenal, Bobby. I hope you didn't mind me asking.
Not in the least. Mafia?
Did I say something funny, Roberto?
No, I'm sorry, Annie. But look, just because my family comes from Sicily doesn't mean we're in the mob. We're a very law-abiding family. And for many years, we've invested heavily in show business and entertainment ventures. Now, when Gino mentioned Colombia, he was talking about the Hollywood studios.
Oh! Columbia Pictures!
Yeah, and it's true. I did hire a man to do the shooting. A cameraman.
So, when he said there was going to be a killing, he meant profits?
Yeah, he was talking about financial killing.
So, why did everybody call him Don?
Well, his name was Gino Donaletto Maneri. And the family started calling him Donaletto, which was eventually shortened to Donnie and Don, and there you go.
Oh! So, why did men keep coming up and kissing him?
Now, that's the other thing I have to talk to you about. You may have noticed that Gino at some times swung like a pendulum.
Sorry?
To Gino, life was a two-way road. You know, trucks came in both directions. You get my drift?
Oh, what, you mean he was...
I think we're understanding each other now.
Oh, my God!
Look, he was never sure which way to go until he met you. And then he went the other way. I'm sorry.
It's all right. I sometimes have this effect on men.
Yeah, well, not on this man, you didn't. Look, I feel like a real creep coming all this way just to badmouth my brother and upset you with the truth.
No, it's all right. I'm glad you did.
Hey, here, dry your eyes. Do you know this is the first time I have ever been to old London town? How's about you taking me out and showing me around, huh?
now?
Let's go and ball it up. Dance the night away. What do you say, huh?
Well, all right then.
Hey, that didn't take much persuading, did it? Excuse me. Would you order me a taxi, please? So, what's a good nightclub?
Well, there's Tramps, Stringfellows, the Hippodrome. Which one do you fancy?
All of them.
All of them?
Yeah. I'm a night person, and I feel like getting fractured. You know, I was jealous as hell when Gino brought you to our house.
Oh? Why?
Well, there was my big brother with this pretty, fair-haired English girl. And I said to myself, if Gino's not serious, I'm gonna be all over this babe like fur on a weasel. Annie, is there any likelihood of you getting to New York in the near future?
Oh, I shouldn't have thought so. My financial position has changed somewhat since the old days. Besides, New York isn't the sort of place for a girl to wander around on her own, is it?
No, it can be pretty scary if you don't know what you're doing. But say, for example, someone sent you an airline ticket and was waiting for you at JFK to take you to your hotel. And say that person drove you around, showed you the right places, made sure you were safe. Would that make a difference?
Well, I suppose so. Oh,
What about me?
are you serious, Bobby?
Never been more so. What do you say, huh?
Oh, phenomenal.
Atta girl. Atta girl.
Your taxi's outside, sir.
Right. Come on. This is gonna be a night you're not gonna forget for a long, long time.
Ooh, oh, vagabond shoes. Ooh, are longing to stray into the very heart of it. New York, New York. Oh, what's wrong now?
You know full well what's wrong. You went out with a man you hardly knew and spent the night with him.
That was 2 weeks ago, Dumpling. Can't you just let it drop?
No, I can't, and don't call me Dumpling. I waited up all night for you. I was worried sick, and you didn't even have the decency to phone. Oh, no, you were too busy doing whatever it was you were doing.
I went out on the town with him. We just danced, that's all. You jumped to too many conclusions, darling. I mean, look at the way you convinced yourself that Gino was mafiosi.
You have to see him. Concord. Oh, my, you are in a hurry.
It's just a romantic weekend, that's all. What's wrong with me enjoying myself? I'm only 39.
You're 42!
Whatever. What I'm saying is the fire ain't out yet.
I'm making some coffee.
Oh, get that, would you, sugar? It's most probably the postman delivering a horse's head.
He's over from the States.
Oh, God, Beijing flu.
It's Gordon and one of his colleagues. Another American mummy. I suppose I'll see you tomorrow morning.
Drop it, darling.
Hello, Annie. This is Mr. Monahan I told you about.
Oh, hi.
Pleasure to meet you, man.
Oh, and this is Annie's parents, George and Kitty, Sister Sylvia, and Tiffany you've already met.
Yes, it's nice to meet you all. I've got some new information. Perhaps you'd prefer to discuss this privately.
Oh, no, I have nothing to hide from my family. Pray continue.
Okay, Annabelle. Over the last 2 years, the FBI have been investigating Roberto's activities. Last night, they arrested him in New York. He's being charged with extortion, living off immoral earnings, the illegal importation of Colombian cocaine, and with being an accessory to 7 contract killings.
Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby.
Have they got any evidence?
Is this guy for real?
Shut up, George.
Yes, they have some evidence.
Some. Man, they got a whole heap of stuff. Witnesses, wiretaps, ballistics, you name it, they got it. He's going down for life. They're even questioning him about the death of his own brother.
Gino? But I thought it was a road accident.
Yes, but it was rather a strange road accident. He was found 5 foot under the tarmac.
They are one of the biggest mafia families in America. Bobby was trying to become head of the family. He was taking out anybody who knew anything about the family's business. He even invited 2 of his victims up to New York as his guests. Even sent them airline tickets.
One-way tickets.
Both of them young ladies who knew too much. They thought they were going on a romantic weekend. The nearest they came to romance was a moonlit cruise up the Hudson River in concrete flippers.
Just as well she didn't bring him home to meet us.
You said he was a nice fella.
I thought he was.
No, he's not nice. He's been diagnosed as a schizophrenic psychopath. He's got another little form of identity crisis. He was never sure who he liked best, boys or girls.
But he told me it was Gino who was, well, you know, walking down the middle of the road.
It was Bobby who liked his eggs fried on both sides.
But I like my eggs fried on both sides.
Shut up, George!
Apparently, it was Gina who was trying to move the family away from its criminal activities and get them into legitimate business.
That's right, and it was Bobby who made contact with the Colombian cartels. It was Bobby who was trying to keep the old traditions going. But you see what all this means?
What?
Well, it strengthens your claim against the estate.
But the marriage was annulled.
Yeah, but we can still claim on compassionate grounds for the way they treated her. Okay, it's only a small piece of the cake, but hey, we're talking about a very big cake.
She might get killed.
Oh, Bobby's locked away in Sing Sing.
Well, what about all the cousins?
All right, so there's a few hotheads out there. But think of all that money. It's worth the gamble.
It's a bit like saying, there's a bag of gold that might belong to you.
Exactly. Listen to your father.
And it's just over there in that alligator's mouth.
Ignore him. Who's the lawyer, me or him?
But that money's dirty. It's tainted with blood and drugs and death.
Yeah, and I'm entitled to 15%.
I don't want the money.
Come on, this is no time to get picky here. Can you talk some sense into her?
I think you're wasting your time, Cliff. I did warn you, nothing's guaranteed where Annie's concerned.
I don't want to pursue this claim in any court anywhere in the entire world.
You need some time to think.
No, I don't need any time to think. I'm out, Mr. Monaghan, and so are you. Ciao!
But that's it.
Afraid so.
What a wasted journey. That's gratitude for you, huh? Do you know how much it cost me to come all the way over here? Now I gotta pay to get myself back.
No, you can go for free and on Concord.
No kid. Concord, gee, thanks. Well, I'd like to say it was nice meeting you all, but as you know, it wasn't. Hasta la vista.
Bye, all. I'll be in touch.
So, what about that, Gordon? Concord. You ever been on Concord?
No.
Well, I think this calls for a nice cup of tea.
There aren't any others hidden away, are there?
What do you mean?
Well, you didn't just happen to marry the head of the Chinese triads on your travels?
Think hard, love.